Hello and welcome to part 1 of powering up your home office lights using Power Platform. In this part 1 I just wanted to have a quick overview over the requirements and the preparation steps you need to start building the solution. So inside the Phillips Hue developer portal you have a lot of nice startup information. You can follow some easy steps to just start exploring the API from there. In that case you need a local access to the bridge. So what I was mainly working towards was the using the whole Hue API for remote authentication. As you can see here, here are the details for how to get started with remote authentication. So we will get into that a little bit later. I do have one blog post I want to point out for you, which I wrote earlier this year, about how to use remote authentication and controlling your Philips Hue API using Postman. So here you have a lot of detail on how to set up and use remote authentication, grant permissions, how to authenticate, get access token, and so on. So a lot of different kinds of resources for using Postman. I also included a Postman collection that you can download and use yourself. So I just wanted to point that out. But for now, you need to have a developer account created. You might already have that, and you need to go into Remote Hue app IDs. And from there you can see your existing app IDs, and I will just create a quick demo app ID here. Let's call it Delven Demo Hue app, for example. And then I need a callback URL. And in this case I just wanted to use a localhost address just to see the authorization code. But in reality here you need something HTTP endpoint that can handle your authorization code and then ask for the access token. We will get into that in a later part of this blog series, but for now I'm just using a dummy kind of callback URL here. And I can write an description of some kind. You can also have some company name and so on. It's more important if you are actually developing solutions for Hue that you want to publish, for example, like an app or something. So I just keep that blank now and then click submit. So what I'm returned to in my demo now is I get a client ID and I get a client secret. It's not like in Azure AD when the secret is only shown once. You can always get and retrieve the secret from here. But you should take good care of that secret, as you always should, because these are sensitive and confidential information. So, and I will also go in and change my callback URL if I need to. So, we will just have a quick demo of how to use that client and that app registration. So if I just paste an URL here. So to get started using the Philips API for remote authentication, you need to access the authorization endpoint at the api.meethue.com. And then I need that client ID, which I have here, client ID, and I will just paste that inside there. And then I can also specify that I want the response type is code. This means it will return an authorization code, which I then in turn will use to get an access token. And then I have some my choice of a string. This is something I can validate against, so that not any client can ask for authorization codes. And also I have an app ID. That's the app ID is the name of the this app ID was generated for me inside when I created that app registration now. So this is the app ID, and then I can use let's see here. Then I can use a device ID and device name. These are freely choice device ID and names, but it will be coupled to that authentication. So I can see, for example, inside my Hue account, which devices has coupled up to my remote IDs. So I can just, for example, I can delete those connections later. And if I now click enter and go to that URL, I will be asked for granting permission for this application. I'm already signed in, but if I weren't signed in, I had to sign in as well. And I can say, yes, I do trust this application. So now I have actually logged in with my Phillips Hue account and trust this application. Obviously, the localhost dummy URL returns not found. That is as expected. But for now, I can see that I have been returned with an authorization code and also my state string for any client validation I want to use. So this code will be used in the next turn to go to the token endpoint for the Phillips Hue Remote API. And then I will use that authorization code together with a base64 encoded client ID like username and secret like password for getting an access token. But we will look into that in a later part. So this was really quick. You need to have this prepared before the next steps, and how you do it. I just shown you. So see you in the next part. Thank you.